What's up everybody, Pozic here, and I'm here in Forge to do a first look video. And this isn't really actually a first look video, since I've been playing this game since the alpha, and this is actually probably my third first look video for this game. But it has changed a lot since release, and I figured with all the patches and the Steam sales, a lot of people are interested, and it's worth doing an updated video, especially for a game I love so much. It is a pure PvP game, nothing but PvP. They may add like some horde mode or whatever in the future, but yeah, that is what it is. If you don't like PvP, you probably won't like Forge. So it is made by Dark Veil Games. They did a Kickstarter back before the game released. It was more of a kick finish, but that wasn't successful. So that led to them releasing it early on Steam with a lot of missing features. And that's generally been the main problem with Forge. Most people who play it find it pretty solid. There are a few issues, and I'll explain that later, but the main thing is that it wasn't finished, and it's still not quite finished, but it's definitely improved a lot since release. So getting to the actual gameplay, I'm going to go through each of these menu things real quick to explain them, then I'll go into more details later on in the video showing the gameplay from each of the classes. So training, got tutorial mode, which I believe is required before you do a match, before you do a real match anyways. Then you have bot match, where you can play through all the different difficulty levels of bots on all the classes to get a feel for the game, and I highly encourage you to do the bot match after the tutorial. It's definitely worth it. Quick play. This is where all the magic happens. Here you choose your server, North American, European, Oceanic. Quick note about the servers, they're generated dynamically. So if you get into an empty server, that's usually because all the other servers are full. You can also check the server browser. It's not in-game, but if you right-click on Steam in your taskbar, go to servers, set the filter to Forge, you can see all the game servers. And I believe they plan on bringing that functionality in-game, so that's something to look forward to in the future. Random puts you into any of these three matches. Note that they're not the same server, so like a random server is not the same. Won't put you into an actual TDM server or Capture the Relic server or anything like that. They're completely separate servers, so you might want to check the server browser again when you're trying to get into a match. But you can go straight into Team Deathmatch. My favorite, Capture the Relic, is like Capture the Flag, though you get bonus points for capturing and holding towers. King of the Hill, your team has to hold and defend a tower. Arena is a single life game mode. This is where all the competitive play has been going on. We have weekly tournament events on Saturdays. It's quite fun. You should get involved if you're even slightly interested in it. That they take anyone. And Relic Assault is not in yet, obviously. And you can't join directly into King of the Hill, but you can get to King of the Hill matches from random. Also, I did say the servers were dynamically generated, which means that if you can't get a match on like Oceania, try North America. That's usually where most of the people are, or Europe. I think at one point there's actually more European players than American players. So play is where nothing happens here, but eventually they'll have the in-game server browser here, I believe. But here is where you can create a group to play with your friends. It's a nice little interface. You invite people and it brings up your Steam friends list, which is quite fancy. Return to game. And then once you're all in, they'll hit ready. They'll have a ready button here instead of launch. Then you'll launch and you'll join in the game. TDM, Capture the Relic, Arena, or Random. So that's nice, and you can chat with your people here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's not in. Not everything's in. I don't even use that too often, since you can join directly through Steam just by, let me bring it up here actually. If someone was in Forge, join game and put me in their game. Or you can invite people to your own game too. Community tab, nothing here is really working. Friends just brings up your Steam friends list, which is actually really nice, and I guess that is working, but guild features will be coming later. Level up, this is the magic, well, outside of actually playing the game. As you can see, I got 99, which is the max level on my Pyromancer. But any class you play, you gain experience, and then you can spend it on any class. You don't have to play the class to level it up. Like, to get 99 Pyromancer, I played a lot of Pyromancer, but I also played a lot of Shaman. I play a lot of everything. These hours aren't proper because I played hundreds of hours before they even added this feature. But the stats aren't 100% accurate either. They're kind of slow. They're Steam stats, but they're working on improving that. So experience is where you level up. You start at level 1, obviously, or I guess maybe level 2. No, level 1. And you gain different points. You gain armor points, customization points, and skill focuses. I think the skill focuses for classes are only up to 24, skill focus A, but there will eventually be skill focus B, skill focus C, skill focus D, which are all different sets of abilities. And I'll show that here. As you can see, I have these unlocked for the Assassin, Focus A, which is a slight, like a variation. It's not a straight upgrade, but a variation of the ability, so you can choose how you want to play. As you can see on Assassin, I actually play mostly all with default abilities. The skill focus A for Assassin appears to be more team focused, but that'll change in the future. Stats, as you gain your armor points and customization points, you can modify this. Here's the customization points. You take points out of one stat, like say armor here, and then put it into speed, which is what I like to do, or energy. See, I've taken out of spiritual mostly because there's not really a spiritual damage class. I've also taken a little bit out of nature, but you play with that to how you desire to play. Like if you have issues with assassins, then you might buff up your physical damage or physical armor. Sorry. If you have issues with magic, you might take a little out of physical and put it into magic. That way, pyromancers don't hit you as hard. So it's a system of give and take. Armor is a little more customization like that, and they'll eventually be adding even more customization through equipment, where you can like. Again, it'll be trade-offs, not straight up upgrades or anything like that. Alright, I think I've hit everything there. Oh, no I didn't. Actually, let me show it on my Pyromancer, since I have the 99 skin, which is a black skin. There's also the default skin, and then the white founder skin, which I don't think anyone can get those founder skins anymore. But they will eventually add other cooler skins in the future, which you might be able to buy as like a sort of microtransaction, but I'm not sure how they're going to do that. Here's the titles. I got my founder title and all the level titles because of my Pyromancer. Then I got my demigod title, the 99 title, which is beautiful. Alright, let's go. Redeem code, I believe that's for linking your keys to the game, which you almost never need to do except the first time you buy it. And I think through Steam it automatically does that. That might be for like if you do it directly through their site or through other sites, I'm not sure. I haven't really used that. Settings, let's go this real quick. Got all the good graphic settings here. The indie slider, if you're a really low-end machine and turning everything else off doesn't do anything for you, try dropping this down to between 50 and 75. If you drop it lower, you won't see anything, but that's for really low-end systems. Audio, there is in-game voice. You can't really tweak it very much, so it's not too useful, but that is in input, standard input, control settings, mouse. Good stuff. Abilities. This is where, once you've bound your overall abilities here, the key screen, I just have mine on 1 through 8 because I have a Naga, left click through 8. You can move them around for specific classes, like, there. I don't know why I was having issues, that's weird. Let me put that back to, come on. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. Or maybe I'm just screwing it up, but that is there. Here, important is field of view. I set mine all the way to 110 maximum. Queuing period is sort of hard to explain, but it's when you hit an ability while another ability is active, like how much time, like if you hit it within 0.25 seconds, it'll queue up and then automatically do it, so you don't have to spam hit it. But most people spam hit anyways. Alright, that was a very, very detailed look at the menu, I guess. Now into the actual gameplay. Actually, let me hop into training mode just to show off the classes for you. It's probably a better way to do it. So we have the Assassin, your standard hit and run class. You really gotta hit and run with this guy. He's kind of squishy. It's actually a she, by the way. Let's get some gameplay going on. The first opponent here is easy Shaman bot. Missed my attack there. I'm actually not going to play this really seriously. The first ability is Strike, basic attack. All classes, their basic attack gives you back mana or your resources, which is very important. As you can see, I hit and filled my mana back up. Second ability for Assassins is Puncture. Gotta block that. There's block for all classes, by the way. Puncture slows and bleeds. Of course, all these abilities could change in the patches. The devs are absolutely amazing about balance and listening to the community. We were actually discussing with the devs yesterday on the public Mumble server on different abilities and different ability variants for new focuses in the future, which you do not get that in pretty much any other game. I mean, to have direct contact with the devs and for them to, like, some of the abilities in the game right now are because we suggested them, which is absolutely phenomenal. Anyways, back to the game. Puncture, bleed and slow. Pantera's Kiss, it takes off the punctures and does extra damage after a period of time. As you can see, it did some damage. You do even more damage if you hit them from the back with that and from stealth, which is double bonus. Well, not double, but just extra damage. Shadow Leap, you can leap through walls to your opponent as long as you have them targeted, like I did. After 3 seconds of being behind a wall, their name will disappear. Maybe it's 5 seconds, I don't know. So that's just something to keep in mind. 6th ability, I skipped the 5th ability. 6th ability is Shadow Shift? Yeah. Because 4th ability is Shadow Leap. And Alt, tutorial mode, you can hover over any of the elements. Shadow Shift takes your enemy into the shadow world, and so you can isolate them and drop them, attack them all by yourself. Wow. It's really good for pulling a shaman out of a team fight. 5th ability is a stun, and it makes the next attack miss. Or in the case of the shaman, their next heal will miss. The 7th ability is Stealth, no cost or anything on that. It's permanent. Of course, that could change in the future, but it's balanced pretty well. Assassin is the 1v1 gank class, so that's what it's for. Smoke Cloud blocks projectiles, so they can't shoot through it. Alright, so that's the Assassin. Switch into Pathfinder, which is a range damaged class. It has traps, so it's good for team support, AoE traps. First ability is basic attack, gives you mana just like all the others. Second attack is Poison Arrow, which does damage over time, more than your basic attack, but this attack does cost mana. It also does more damage when the enemy moves. So if they stand still, they get less damage, but almost no one ever stands still. Third ability is Volley. Can't really show this off here, but if there was a lot of enemies standing next to each other, it would hit all of them, or at least whoever's close enough. Fourth ability is, I forget what it's called actually. Camouflage, that's right. I'm going to drop a trap here. Going to go Camouflage, makes you stealth, and if I activate Camouflage again, actually this bot, none of the bots here have detection of stealth. But if he was out here, I could target him again from Camouflage and swap positions with him right onto my traps. 5th ability is Root, Pin Foot, and it does exactly that, just pins them in place. 6th ability is a Blind, makes their screen black, good stuff, standard stuff. 7th ability is a Trap, it bleeds them and slows them. 8th ability is Explosive Trap, which knocks them down. And speaking of knockdowns, if you see this little white bar under a character, that is their determination bar. It's also here on your screen, and he's draining my mana right now, or he was. And as this gets filled up, basically anytime you're stunned, it starts being filled up. Let me demonstrate this to you. Or rooted. I root him, and you see that pretty much most of the way filled up. If they take damage while stunned, or if they get more stunned, it fills up all the way, and then they can't be stunned anymore. That's to prevent stun locking. So that's something you have to watch for if you're trying to stun someone. If they have a full determination bar, then they're not going to get stunned. So that's Pathfinder. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Pyromancer, my first 99. My original main, but I kind of switched from that to Assassin, though I'm still bouncing around. Pyromancer is really fun in this game, especially with Rocket Jump. So, first ability, just like all the others, gives you your mana back on hit, does a little damage. Second ability is a slow and a damage over time. Takes mana, but it does more damage than one basic attack. Sort of a trade-off there. Third ability is this Curse, which to target people, you have to start the cast on them, and then you have to be in line of sight on them at the end. So, like, I can start the cast while he's behind that wall, since I had him targeted, and then I can pop out at the last moment to make it explode, and he'll take big damage. And that does less damage if they get next to their teammates, so they can mitigate that damage, but it's really good for, like, single target spiking. 5th ability, I'm going to let him heal up a little bit because he's a good opponent. 5th ability is Bola, which knocks people back and does a stun of sorts. I think I might be using the variant of it. Yes, I am. The normal version, which you start out with, will knock you back. This version actually just roots you, and it goes through enemies, so you can root multiple people. But basically the same general principle. So let's root this guy. Also, actually, this variant is a skill shot, which is really hard to hit. And then I can combo it with my flame wall and drop that right on top of him for big damage. 6th ability, Molten Armor. When people hit me, they take damage and AoE. So it does big amounts of damage. Very good to get assassins to stop attacking you. 7th ability is Flame Wall. I'm actually running the variant. Normally it's horizontal from you like that. So the variant's kind of nice. But I do like the default one just because you can put it around corners really easily. I can be standing here, drop it, and it would get someone that's like standing over here. Now this ability, Firestorm, AoE damage, Meteor Shower, standard mage stuff. Did I skip? No, I didn't skip that. Flame Burst. Alright. Almost done. Shaman, the healer, pretty much a pure healer. Good support, not really much damage. First attack, or basic attack, gives you mana back, just like everything else. Second ability is a heal, like a spike heal. Third ability is an AoE heal that just does a single pulse to all allies in the area. Fourth ability is a anti-gravity thing that also slows down enemies that are near you, as you can see wall jumping around. And I haven't even mentioned wall jumping, have I? That's another really good feature of Forge. Really comes into play in competitive matches. So yeah, that's in. Fifth ability is a drain, mana drain, which you see him casting that like every time. It's actually kind of overpowered right now, but they're changing that. We've discussed with the devs. So, but it's a very good ability. Drains the enemy's mana, gives it to you. It's broken on line of sight or once you're out of range. Sixth ability is a self heal. It does a spike heal and a heal over time. Very useful. Pretty much your only self heal. It is your only self heal on Shaman, so you gotta use that all the time. It does take a lot of mana though, so you gotta do it right. Seventh ability is, I can't really show it to you here because that's not an ally, but it's a damage buff that you cast on your allies. And once you have that buff on your allies, your second ability, the spike heal, will do bonus healing. The last ability is this bubble, which mitigates, I think, like 300 points of damage by default. But if you heal allies that are inside of this, the healing does not go to your allies, it instead goes to the bubble. So you can end up mitigating like thousands and thousands of damage if you set this up at the beginning of a fight and your teammates are sitting in here. Then the enemies won't be able to hit you. Very useful ability. The final class, for now, they eventually will have 12 classes as their goal, and the next one, Ravager, will be coming out pretty soon, probably in the next month or two, which is like a dual-wielding warrior. So, this last class is the Warden, and it's a tank. It's not like a true warrior, but it's pretty much pure tank and support, though the variants can make you a little more offensive. So, basic attack gives you energy. I've said that every single time. Holds true for Warden. Second ability is Vengeance. It builds up stacks. As you can see here above the Vengeance ability, I have one stack. You gain a stack for every enemy that's in the radius when you cast it. And that makes your other abilities, like your Raise Morale and your Protect Allies buff, more effective. So the third ability is Spin to Win. That's actually Shield Storm. Knocks people back and does damage. Pretty good for CCing or splitting up a group of enemies. Like say you want to isolate the Shaman, you can split the whole group up that way. It's also good for damage if you pin them into a corner, so like all your spins will hit. Fourth ability, Charging Leap. You leap to them pretty much like the Assassin Leap, but it's not a stun, it's just a slow. And then you can combo that with the fifth ability, Shockwave, to stun people. It's an AoE stun in a cone. Sixth ability is, I forgot what it's called, I always forget. Raise Morale, and it makes you faster and do more damage. Seventh ability is Protect Allies, increases your health, depending on your Vengeance stacks, of course, and your defense. And the eighth ability is your, oh no, I gotta get out of line of sight. I need mana back. Let's charge him and get some basic attacks on him. Oh, he's leaping away. He's actually kind of smart. Eighth ability is your Stand Ground, basically invincibility. You take a really slight amount of damage, but it's really nice for tough situations. Also, people who hit you while you're using that are silenced, so they can't use their abilities for like a second or two. It also fills up your determination bar, so you can't be stunned after that for a little while, which is sweet. Alright, so that's about it for all the classes. That was a really long video. I'll try to condense this in the editing. But the next class is going to be Ravager, dual-wielding warrior. More damage. It'll fill the typical, or the archetypical warrior role. Archetypical, is that a word? I don't know. But, yeah. Definitely loving this game. If you want to join us on the public Mumble, please do so. We're more than willing to teach you. A lot of us have been here since Alpha. We love to show people this game that we love. That's about it. If I think of anything else, I'll probably put it in the video description. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know. And I hope you're doing delicious, because I'm quite delicious today. Pausik, out.